Hey, it's Jason with Denwerks. Got something really cool today. It's a 1979 Ford F150 Custom. You know, it's a short box, step side. Really hard to find a truck in this condition. You know, this is, last of this generation basically. 1972 to 79 was basically the same body style, and really similar also to 67 to 71, but this is the last year. 78, 79 went with the square headlights, and they're really attractive looking truck. This truck was bought brand new in 1979 by a gentleman and his wife, and they had it until he passed, I think around 2012, and I bought it from the family, and so they were really excited that I was getting it because they knew that I would preserve it. And that's what I told them I would do. Wasn't gonna jack it up or do anything crazy to it. I wanted to keep it really original, keep the original paint on it, and really just preserve it because it's really a true survivor, and it's really a nice old truck. So he bought it brand new at Denwerks Ford up in Beaverton, which that Ford dealership is still around. So we'll go ahead and walk around. I believe that it's original paint, very original truck, so we'll walk around and talk about it. Of course, I like to do videos now, which some of you have seen, but I'll try to show as much as I can, and just doing a video really helps, I think, over still photos. So we'll go ahead and rev it up just a little bit. It's got a 351 modified in it. It's the original motor. We'll go ahead and show you the lights. Got marker lights, headlights, got blinkers left and right, so all that's working, and then you got bright lights there. So we'll go ahead and walk around, look at the paint in general. It's really original, but you're gonna see little chips and little scratches, little tiny things. You'll see some dings. You see a little couple dings right there in the headlight, the grill surround. This year too, they came in plastic here, and this one's actually in really nice condition. I like the black insert. The grill is in really good condition. I don't see any signs of any cracks or anything. It looks good. Bumper is nice. It has a little bit of haziness, but not too bad. It's actually a really nice bumper. Original plates from 1979. Look around here. The headlights around looks good. It's not broken. I don't see any real small little hairline cracks along the edge there of the turn signals, but they look in good shape. You're gonna see little tiny chips, road rash, what sometimes we call it, just from being driven, little rock chips and such. But actually the hood is in really nice condition. Factory wheels, they're 5.5 by 15s. You can see there's no rust in the bottom of the fender. Real nice. You can see a couple little scratches, real minor right there, but it's in good shape. It's got 30 by 9.5 tires on it all the way around with a matching spare. These are older tires. They're BF Goodrich all-terrains, and they have really good tread on them. So I would, depends on what you want to do with it. I would drive around with them on this, but they're probably 20 years old or so, and they actually look pretty good. I haven't seen a lot of weather checking or anything on them, but if you wanted to feel safe about it, you could go ahead and put something on it later, and it could probably handle a little bit bigger tire if you wanted, but they look in good shape. You can see here some little chips along the fender, little tiny scratch. The bottom of the door looks really good. Of course it has little scrapes and different things. Road rash from down here. You can see here the road rash really hit up here on the step side. And if you look here, when the rocks came and hit this kind of shielded it right there, so that's why you don't have them up above here, but they would fly up here and here, but kind of left it there. So the bed is actually in really nice condition. You look at the back of the cab, and I'll put it on my lift so you can see. Totally amazing. You know, this truck has very little rust. There was a couple little spots on the driver's floor, which I'll show you later. But I mean, it's really in amazing condition. You can see some little paint rub through. There's Stanley running underneath the truck. I don't know if you could hear that. Little dent right there on the back of the cab. You know, the roof has a little bit of flaking on top. We'll get some pictures of it. But what we're really interested here is the roof gutter is really nice. You know, it's not rusty. That's one spot that can get really rusty on these trucks. Look up across the front here. You know, no chips in the windshield. You know, it looks good. We'll look here at the bed. We did put new shocks around it too. You can probably see inside there. I'll show them on my lift, but they're Monroe's. You know, factory hubcaps. You know, actually the fender back here looks good. Little chip. You'll see scratches and stuff on the top. You know, the other thing that's nice about this truck too is they came in two different ways in 78 and 79. You know, this is manual hubs. You can see here. And they also came in, you know, full four-wheel drive all the time. So a lot of people didn't like that too much. You know, a lot of new cars are like that, but this one here you can run off two-wheel drive in the back or four-wheel drive. By turning this, you can lock the hubs. So that's usually what happened a lot. People would convert them back over like this, and this is a factory one. You know, one of the things that we try to do to these rigs is really preserve them, but sometimes you got to change things. And so we went ahead and put a new bed in it. This is a new oak bed, but I didn't really want to get crazy and stain it and, you know, put a varathane or like a clear on it, because then you can't haul anything in it ever, because, you know, you're afraid you're going to scratch it. So, and I love linseed oil, so we linseed oiled the wood underneath and on top, and that way later on down the road, you know, if you do scratch it or something, it's actually not going to really scratch, but you can put another coat on real easy. So, and the other thing I didn't want to do is repaint the rails. These are all original paint on these. You know, just trying to keep it as original as I can, because they can only be original one time, and they just really make me excited just to see an original car. I mean, it's just really amazing. You can see here the bumper is in good shape. We did repaint it. You can see the original plate. You know, original lights back here. You know, the bed, the tailgate looks really good. Original paint on the lettering. We'll walk around here on the other side. You know, when you look down the side of it, it's actually really straight. I'll show you this other side real quick. It's actually a pretty straight old truck. Pretty amazing condition overall. You know, not perfect, but it's a nice truck. Look around the bed here. You know, it's not rusty in the seams. Fender looks good. You can see some little gouges right there in the paint. You know, but overall, really good condition. And this here made me kind of wonder. I'm not 100% sure what happened. I would imagine this is original, just because the wear is exactly the same. You know, you can see here where it's shielded and didn't hit, you know, the paint here because this was in the way. But this one here is red underneath, and so I don't know if something happened to this step and they put a new one on, but I don't really, you know, it's just kind of hard to tell or is that the primer underneath? I don't think so. You know, we'll have to use our best guess there, but there is red underneath here, but there's not any red anywhere else on the truck. And the other step over there, it's actually worn off, you know, to the metal. So I'm not 100% for sure on that, but I wanted to for sure point that out. You can see here, this is actually a factory run in the paint. You can see the spot welds around the cab. Really, really good. You know, the rockers look good. If you look right here, you'll see some little tiny blistering. You know, that could be a little bit of rust. I'm not sure. But you just want to kind of keep that, you know, just keep an eye on that. I wouldn't be fixing it or anything, because you want to keep the original paint. You can see the paint scratched off on the edge of the door, you know, just from getting in and out. You can see the gutter, again, on this side is really good. You can see the top of the roof. You can see here someone had their arm out driving around a lot, or it rubbed off. You know, the cowl looks good. Little scratch right there. You know, very, very nice. No rust in the bottom of the fender. So go ahead and turn the lights on. We got our tail lights. They're working. Brake lights. You can see here the license plate lights are working as well. We've got blinkers left and right. And then our reverse lights work as well. You can see that. So everything's in order on the outside for sure. So we'll show you some more stuff. Okay, we're going to take a look underneath the hood. Little latch right there. You just pull it, lift it up. You know, it's a 351 modified. You know, one way you can kind of see that in the Cleveland was the same way, but the 351M and 400M and the 351 Cleveland, you can see this kind of bump out on the block, extended block right there. So, you know, you got to do decoding and things in general to see exactly, but that's one of the first signs. You can see that it's a modified 351 modified, 400 modified, or 351 Cleveland. But this truck came factory 351 modified. You know, it's a factory 2-barrel. We did a little engine detailing on it in general, but I think that the motor might have been rebuilt in the past, because when you see the pictures with the valve covers off, you can see kind of a red brick type paint that they put in on top of the cylinders there. And you know, they put that in there. A lot of racers and things do that, but it helps promote, you know, just makes it a little smoother in there so the oil rushes back down in the oil pan. So that's something they wouldn't have done from the factory in general, but it does run really good. We did put a brand new carburetor on it, and you'll also see that it has all of its smog equipment. Its catalytic converter is on it, and we got the correct carburetor on it too, so it has all the smog plugins and everything, but we'll give you the original carburetor as well. You can see back there, there's a little tag. That's a body buck tag there, so some of the codes and stuff are on that. You'll see, you know, power brakes. It's got disc up front and drums in the back. It's got power steering. You know, this is nice to see too, because a lot of these get taken off the fan shroud. We'll go ahead and look on this side. You know, look across there. Everything is actually in really nice condition. Now, one thing that's different on this truck, and you gurus will know that this is actually an aluminum air cleaner, and they usually came just in raw aluminum. And this one here, it wasn't looking, you know, the aluminum starts oxidizing and stuff, so they don't look good. And you know, personally, I never did like the aluminum look, so I painted it blue. So I just wanted to do that to add my own little touch to it. And I own it, so I can actually do it like that. But if you wanted to get really critical and original, you'd want to strip that off, which you could do, and put it back to just bare aluminum. You know, here you can see that these weren't supposed to be painted, which they're not. It's a galvanized steel. You can see on both sides. Those are actually in pretty good condition. Overall, you can see the factory jack. This is kind of neat right here. July 16th, 1979, original stamping on it. You know, these little shields are still here. And this was kind of neat too, that I noticed. You can actually see where it says Ford right here. That was probably spray painted on from the factory, just the logo. Hopefully you can see that. And I just thought it was kind of neat. So why don't we go ahead and start it up. You can actually see the date here, 79. You know, it actually runs really good. You know, real smooth. Go ahead and rev it up. You know, I probably put about 100 miles on it. You know, when I first got it, we drove it home down the freeway, and it actually drove really nice. We've done a lot of just mechanical things, tune-ups and different things to it. We flushed the brake system out, put new brakes on the back. The front ones we didn't have to do, but we put new drum cylinders and everything on the back, and serviced the transmission, the transfer case, put new gear oil and everything, and you know, obviously oil change. You can see here it's got 2 new hoses as well on the power steering pump. You know, but overall, everything's actually in pretty good order underneath here, so it was pretty good. So we'll show you some more stuff. Okay, here we are. We're going to take a look at the interior. Just wanted to show you. Actually, the door does lock, you know, on both sides. And actually, the interior is really nice. The only thing I had to do in here is I put a new seat cover on it. Had it reupholstered because it had some rips, you know, typical little rips right here, seam splitting and stuff. So, you know, the seat looks actually in really good condition, obviously, because it's brand new. You can see the door panels are original. But what's really impressive is, you know, when you look around the doors here, and absolutely no rust underneath. We took photos there so you can see that too. But, you know, these doors are in really good shape. You can see the original door tag, metal door tag. And you can also see over here the original sticker on the jamb. You know, but you look inside the jamb, really nice. You can see all the original spot welds. You know, really in good condition. Obviously, from getting in and out, your foot rubbing. But, you know, this truck hasn't been in any accidents. I mean, look how clean inside the door jambs are. Obviously, with original paint, you know, it hasn't been in a wreck, but it's really nice. When I took the seat out to have it recovered, oh, there it is. We took pictures of it back here for you so you can see the back of the cab, but, you know, really clean. You know, nice condition overall. You look across the dash, really nice. You know, the dash pad, no cracks, looks in good condition. You know, the steering wheel looks nice. You know, I don't know if this was an option on these trucks. You know, this is more of a sport, you know, Ford wheel, and so I don't know if this one came with this or not, or if he put it on, but it is nice looking, and I've seen it on other trucks as well, but I just don't know with this model if it's supposed to be like this or not. But I'm not complaining because I like the wheel. You can see one little crack right there. You know, the horn works. Factory 4-speed, which is nice. You can see the 4x4 shifter. You know, what's really amazing too is the floor mat. Look at the floor mat in this thing, and that's original. You can see one little cut right there, you know, where it's, you know, where it's put in, but there's a little cracking right there, but you know, it's actually in really good condition. You know, the miles, you know, it shows 06175. You know, just the condition of the truck in general, you know, I would say it probably had 106, but it could be 206, you know, but you know, just the way the floor mat is and the way the original pedal, look at the original pedals, they're not all worn out, you know, and these aren't reproductions or anything. You know, those actually look pretty good. So since I don't have any written documentation or anything like that, you know, at least we know it's rolled over at least once. You can see the headliner is in good condition. And the visors look good. Dome light works. You know, it's got all of its seat belts, the retractors. You know what? It's actually in nice condition. You can see here that it has a FM AM radio. And I think something must be wrong with it inside, because we did put a new fuse in it and it immediately blew the fuse. So there must be something wrong with the original radio there. But we'll take it for a spin here in a little bit and, you know, show you the rest of the gauges and stuff working and things. Okay, so here we are on the passenger side. Just wanted to show you the door working. And real quick, you know, basically this is, you know, the other side, but I talked a lot about the interior already. You can see the glove box, original stickers in here, which is nice, and the cardboard box is in good condition. You know, again, there's not any cracks in the dash. We'll go ahead and roll the windows up so you can see the windows. Let's see here on this side, window rolls up nice. And I'll show you my side. And honestly, actually, if you look at the window felts, those actually look in really nice condition. I probably wouldn't change those. And you look at the rubber gasket around the edge, it actually looks pretty good. You can see here in the door jamb again, it's in really nice shape. No accidents or not rusty inside here. Go ahead and look at the bottom of the door. Sometimes they can get real rusty up here in these areas or in the corners, but you know, they look really good. You look inside the inside of the door here. You know, chipping and stuff. You know, it actually it's a nice truck inside for the age. Cruising around a little F150. Just gonna pull up to a stop here. You can see it actually stops nice and straight. You know, like before I talked about, we did all the brakes and stuff. Didn't have to do the front ones, but did the backs and flush the system. But it actually drives really nice. You know, you can hear it revving up. Just wanted to show you a few things. You can hear the defrost up on the top. Then it shifts down to the bottom. The radio, I already told you, wasn't working. Horn. You can see here the blinker indicator. It's working in the dash there. Alt light works. Oh, gotta turn my light off. You can see the temperature gauge is working, fuel gauge. You can see the oil pressure is working, and it's real high, and which is really nice. But we'll just cruise here for a minute and I'll show you that the speedometer is working. You can see it bouncing just a tiny bit, but overall just a really nice driving truck. You know, so we'll just cruise around a little bit. here. It actually drives pretty good. Just wanted to show you the wipers. I might not have fluid in it right there. I was pushing the button. I'll have to check on that, but the wiper, the windshield wiper, the washers might not be working. But you know, all the gauges look good, and you know, everything's pretty much in order. I know the cigarette, at least this part's not working. I'll test this at least so you can use a USB or something. So we'll just cruise around and show you some more stuff. Hey, here we are underneath the little Ford. You know, it's nice to do a video underneath. I can talk about different things. You know, you're obviously going to see the still photos and everything, but I just like to do a video because it just reminds me of when I'm out looking at the car in general, that, you know, everything can look really pretty on the outside, but the first thing I do is crawl underneath. And so I think it's important that we do that here as well, and you can just understand more things about it. But it really is an amazing condition overall. You know, this gives you another look at the tire tread. You know, really good older tires, but they're in really nice condition. You know, if you wanted to be 100% safe, you might want to change them, but I mean, I'd probably run these for a while, you know, as they do look good. You know, things that we did underneath, I put a new drag link on it here, and we've also had it aligned. You know, the front axle looks in good condition. You can see it's the original one. You can see the original tag, D9TA, and D is for 70, 9 is for 79. You know, that 518 there means that's when I check the fluid, and we replace the fluid as well. And it doesn't actually have a gasket that goes around here. It's they silicone back on, so we had that changed too. You know, it's got disc brakes on the front, and we flushed the system out, but the brakes on the front were good. On the back, I'll show you, put new cylinders and hardware and brakes, shoes on it. It's got new Monroe shocks all the way around it as well. You can see here, you know, we did detail the motor, but we haven't had any oil leaks or anything that I've noticed. You know, just a minor detail. You look here, it's got a new starter on it. The original starter was actually working good, but it was just making a little bit of noise, and I didn't like it, and so we went ahead and changed it. Right there's the original smog pump. You can see right there. You know, here's the transmission. You know, we replaced the side cover gasket and obviously drained the fluid and put new fluid in it. The 518, you know, when you see that, doesn't mean the transmission was replaced. Sometimes you see that junkyard, that means when I change it. So that way when the next guy gets underneath here, okay, the fluid was changed then and checked at the same time. You know, the front drive line, you know, real tight. You know, four-wheel drive works. You can see here the rubber up here looks good. All the body mounts look in good condition. You know, most of the exhaust is all original. You can see this little heat shield on it, factory heat shield. It's got its original catalytic converter on it. We did put a new muffler on it, but that's all it needed. Here's the transfer case right here. You know, we've serviced it, drained the fluid, put a new side cover on it as well. You know, U-joints, rear end seems real tight. You know, again, the mount looks good. Real superficial little tiny cracks on some of the bushings, but nothing that I would be concerned about. You know, here you can see on this floor, really nice condition. You know, not rusty. Looks good. You look here at the back of the cab, really nice. You look inside the rocker. You know, usually these are just rusted to death. This thing's really nice condition. I wish most rigs were like this. You know, no rust at the bottom of the fender. You see this body mount. Actually, you can see that, which you thought, you know, if you looked at it close there, you would think that was the rubber cracking, but it wasn't. It was the undercoating just coming off. We'll go ahead and look at this floor. This is the only sign of rust that I've seen on this truck. Couple little holes right here, really minor. You know, the rest of the floor looks really good. You know, you might want to have that repaired, but I don't know, it's pretty minor. You could probably get away with it for a while, but that would be something really easy to do. Look at the rocker again. On this side looks really good. You know, back of the cab, really nice. You know, this is just some factory seam sealer there. Almost look like chewing gum. You can see all the original spot welds. You can see behind the cab. You know, it just looks in really good condition overall. You know, here's our bed from underneath. You know, again, we put linseed oil on it instead of using a varathane varnish or something like that, where it was all shiny and then you were afraid to put anything in it. So that actually, I think, seals it a lot better. You can see our new shocks. You know, again, they're Monroes. We didn't put them all the way around. You know, we put new hardware in the back, like I was talking earlier. New cylinders, new brakes, original rear end. And we did replace the fluid in it as well. But you know, here you can see the U-joint looks good. There's the gas tank up there, matching spare. You know, the frame looks really good. You'll see surface rust underneath the truck from just age and being used, but you know, I haven't seen any accidents on this truck. Very clean and in really nice condition. Go ahead and look on this side. Spring perches all look good. You know, it's the original wood up there. That bar, that crossbar right there. You know, they were in good shape. We didn't have to replace those. You can see another one. Just the wood block. Just walk around here. You can see the original block right there. You know, the frame looks good. So hopefully that gives you a good idea of the truck in general. You know, it's really a time capsule. I mean, you don't see, especially trucks, in this kind of condition. And I hope that the next person that owns it, you know, is a really good caretaker like the original owner was. So it's really nice. So if you have any questions or anything, you can give me a call. You can make comments on the auction and stuff. I'd be glad to answer. You know, you can send a friend over to take a look at it for you before you bid. So anyways, thank you and have fun bidding.